Ashley Rose Nova. I'm with TWM Plus, TWM News in the UK, but I'm not located in the UK. I'm in the States. I'm here with the Death Machine, the man of Impact, the man of Revolver. Sami, how are you?
Look at that. Great intro. Look at my production value. We got the Victory Road logo. We got the Idiot Moose. We got Soldier Boy Maclin. You got the Death Machine. We're looking good. We're ready to do this interview. What do you got for me?
All right, Sami. Well, the way I do things is, first of all, I'm going to ask you, the questions that relate to Victory Road, relate to Impact. And then we're gonna have a little bit of fun if you're cool with that.
I'm down for whatever you want to do. I am an open book. I am not a shy person. So whatever you got planned, let's do it.
Awesome. All right. First of all, to everyone watching this, check out Victory Road. If you're in the United Kingdom, become an Impact Insider on youtube.com/Impact Wrestling or get Impact Plus. It's great. You get all these matches. You get an archive. You could see Sami there. You could see Sami on both channels. Sami, you got your own show over there.
I do. Callihan Uncensored. It gets uploaded on Impact Plus. It gets uploaded on Impact Ultimate Insiders. We're actually working on some new exclusive interviews, exclusive episodes now that'll be going up on the channel in the next couple weeks. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. I don't know why anyone wouldn't spend 99 cents for Ultimate Insider when you can watch the show, you can watch replays, you can watch archives. It's really the best bang for your buck. And if you want to watch Impact Wrestling, 99 cents on YouTube, you can't go wrong.
Awesome. First of all right, is there any concerns going into this match Friday night? Are you concerned about anything? Are you worried that those two are going to reconcile?
See, this is the thing. I've been getting this question on social media and interviews. How do you prepare yourself for Barbed Wire Massacre? What are you going to do if they work together? Do you really think I care? Because at the end of the day, this is just another Friday for the Death Machine. Do you like to party? Because I like to party. I hope Moose Maclin likes to party. And Barbed Wire Massacre for the Death Machine is just another party. And as far as Moose and Maclin working together goes, I think you'll see what's going to happen. By the time we get to Victory Road, I am the puppet master of professional wrestling. I'm going to have those two big idiots exactly where I want them. That's at each other's throats.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think they're going to get it together before Friday.
I don't think they even know what they're getting themselves into. Maclin wants to talk about, I've been in war. Moose wants to talk about, I've been in the NFL. I'm a highly decorated monster. I don't give a damn at the end of the day. Neither one of them know exactly what they're getting themselves into when they step in Barbed Wire Massacre with the Death Machine. And at this point, for me, it's just another moment. This is history in the making, because when I step into Barbed Wire Massacre this Friday at Victory Road, I will have been in Barbed Wire Massacre more than anyone in Impact Wrestling history, and that's something I'm adding to the resume.
Well, I'm glad to hear. I know that you and Moose have had y'all's conflict for a while.
He's the dumbest human being I've ever met in my life.
I can understand. He's been champion. You're a decorated champion in Impact as well.
Exactly. He wants to talk about. He actually in an interview leading into Clockwork Orange said, I've been in more matches like this than you have. And I said, where? You obviously do not know professional wrestling, Moose, because you not realize I've done this all over the world. I have bled buckets on multiple continents and multiple countries and multiple states, and it's just another day for the Death Machine.
I mean, I'm surprised he did not know that about your career. I'm surprised he didn't know that about you, to be honest with you.
I don't think Moose cares. Moose doesn't care about anyone except himself. And that's how Moose has been for years. That's how Moose will be for the rest of his career. The only person Moose cares about is Moose. The only history he knows in professional wrestling is the history of Moose. And sure, go ahead and be like that, Moose, because it's going to be something you remember for the rest of your life when I cut you ear to ear in Barbed Wire Massacre.
Fair enough. Do you have any last messages for those two as far as going into it? Should they be worried? Should they be scared? How should they feel? How can they prepare themselves?
I honestly don't care how they feel. I know how I feel, and I'm grinning ear to ear because I get to cut two dumbasses from ear to ear and watch them bleed in the middle of the ring, and a history-making night for the Death Machine at Victory Road live on pay-per-view. That's a good night for me. That's a party.
Fair enough. I do got some questions, from TWM, because they're not invited to this shindig. It's just me here.
Let's go ahead and Cactus Jacket, bang, bang, and shoot them on up.
All right. Speaking of, bleeding everywhere all over continents, my boss, Richard, wants to know, have you seen TNT Extreme and what it's doing in the UK? And also, when are you coming back over, man? When are you coming to the United Kingdom? He wants to know.
Hey, I just got back from a career-threatening leg injury. I'm just getting back in the swing of things. I'm having fun with Impact Wrestling. I'm having fun with Wrestling Revolver. I'm going to be back eventually. And I have heard of TNT. I love what they're doing right now. They're doing wrestling right over there in the UK. And I'm glad to see after the pandemic, new companies opening up and really striving right now. Because when one company does good, all companies do good. It does great for the entire echelon of professional wrestling.
I agree with you. I do. I think, everything helps everyone in an aspect,
It's like an onion. There's layers. We're going to go Shrek style. Yeah. There's layers like an onion.
Exactly. Also, he wanted to know, who's your dream match opponent, past or present? General question. He's just curious.
Cactus Jack and Terry Funk, bro. Like I've said that so much. You put me, Cactus Jack, and Terry Funk in a match in any era and any style of match, and we're going to give you something special. That's the match that with legends, that's what I want. But if we're talking about current wrestlers in professional wrestling right now, I want me and Eric Young. I think that's a match the people's wanted for years. I think that's a match that it truly is good for business, and I hope it's something one day we finally get to lock horns across from each other, because I think we'll make some magic.
I think so too. That is a headline match for, I would say, maybe even Hard to Kill. Be a fantastic closing match. Even for any event, hell, Slammiversary would be a fantastic final match.
Pile driver versus pile driver, leader versus leader, mass manipulator versus mass manipulator. And he's a guy that I truly respect in this business. And I think one of the most underrated and possibly one of the greatest wrestlers of this current generation. So getting a chance to step in the ring with him, I think the Death Machine and the Maniac would absolutely create magic.
Oh, absolutely. Any concerns about, what he's building over there in the future? Is the Death Machine concerned about Violent by Design?
I'm a fan of Violent by Design. I ain't worried about them at all. Heck, I like exactly what they're doing. No matter if it's whoever they take their eyes on, as long as it's not a me at the moment, I'm good. But everything they're doing right now, I'm a huge fan of.
All right. Well, besides facing each other.
And speaking of Violence by Design, Joe Doring, awesome guy, going through some stuff right now. He had cancer come back. Everyone go to shopimpact.com, buy the Joe Doring exclusive shirt with all proceeds going to him. He's a guy that's an amazing human being, an amazing wrestler, and we should give him all the support that we can in these absolutely trying times.
Oh, absolutely. Those shirts, they're fantastic shirts. I know people that have bought a handful of them.
You should. Give them to a friend. It goes to an amazing cause and a guy that we should all love and support as much as possible.
Absolutely. I agree.
And that's just from a real place in my heart.
No, that's, I absolutely agree with you. He's a fantastic performer. I was saddened to hear that he's going through that again, but I'm confident he's going to beat it.
He's going to beat it. He's one of the toughest SOBs I've ever met in my career, and he's absolutely going to beat this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, this is a question from Impact Faithful, because I also asked them if they have any questions for you. The most common one was, who inspired you to enter the world of deathmatch wrestling?
I don't think it's one of those things I was ever consider myself a deathmatch wrestler. I consider myself one of the most pretty much just coercive, one of the most absolutely, I can do any style in professional wrestling. Deathmatch just happens to be one of them. You put me in any matchup against any opponent, and I'm going to give you a moment. I'm going to give you something special. But looking at that, the Terry Funks, the Mick Foleys, the Anitas from Japan, like guys like that were the guys that when I was growing up as a young wrestling fan are the ones that really made me be like, yo, that's badass. That's professional wrestling. And then when I got a little bit older, one of my biggest mentors, one of my biggest inspirations is the Monster Abyss, Impact Wrestling legend, a guy that I think did it better than anyone else.
Oh, absolutely. As far as someone else asked about you replacing Trent from Hemi.
You never know. Trent needs to keep his mouth shut because at the end of the day, if I want to take over Hemi and be the lead singer, I'm going to take over Hemi and be the lead singer. So
that hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't, but it's in the works. I told Trent all it's going to take me is to show up drunk one day and I'm the lead singer of Hemi, and that's what's going to happen.
I mean, who knows? Some magic can happen.
The only thing Trent has on me is he has beautiful hair. The man has a great head of hair.
What's your favorite match in Impact Wrestling history? All history.
Impact Wrestling history, Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels. For me to say anything else is wild because that's the match I think that really helped put Impact Wrestling on the map with that style of wrestling, and it changed professional wrestling for the better.
Now, let's go back to Eric Young and Violent by Design. Let's rewind it back a little bit. Now, would you, the Death Machine, ever, after say in the future you face each other, because I think it's going to happen. I feel it. I feel that match is going to happen. You two are going to face each other, but out of you respect him, I'm gonna make the assumption that he respects you, because why would he not respect you?
Who wouldn't respect the Death Machine? Let's get real at this point.
Yeah, let's would y'all team up?
I don't know about that. I like being a loner. I'm not really a follower. I'm more of a leader, have you seen from my wrestling career. But you can never say anything about professional wrestling. You can never say never, because you never know what could happen. If the stars all align, anything's possible.
All right. Well, we got a little bit of time left, so let's have some fun questions. You're a man that loves video games.
I do. Big fan.
What's your favorite game?
Of all time, any system?
Any system.
Battletoads and Turtles in Time. Two best video games ever made.
It's been a long time since I played Turtles in Time.
If you're a Turtles in Time's fan, they just released a new one on PlayStation 5, on Xbox, on PlayStation 4 called Shredder's Revenge. It's almost a direct copy remake with just a new storyline from Turtles in Time. So if you guys want something good, look it out. Shredder's Revenge on pretty much any platform video game there is at this point.
I actually beat that game. I did. I beat it on PC.
It's so good. And if you like that, Streets of Rage 4 is another one. Absolutely amazing.
Oh, yeah. I have a great time. Great beat 'em up, as far as fantastic game.
I actually think the survival and the endurance mode is better than the story. It's awesome. Really? Yeah, it's so good. It's so replayable. I've played it with a bunch of my friends, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, trying to get a higher level, a higher score. It's something I like survival. I like horde modes in video games, and that one's by far one of my favorites.
Awesome. Speaking of, the new Ninja Turtle game, to be honest with you, I was a little upset that no one announced that Kevin Nash was at the end of that game. I was not prepared to beat him.
I was actually extremely glad that it didn't leak and I got to experience myself.
Survival horror?
Love survival horror games. What's my favorite survival horror games? I'm a huge player of Dead Before Dawn. Like, I play that game so much. And it's another game that has extreme replayability because it's an online game. It's an online multiplayer. They're always updating levels. They're always adding characters. They're always adding perks. So it has an infinite playability to it. I really enjoy the new Evil Dead game that just came out. I think that's absolutely great.
It's so good. It's so challenging too. And it was about time,
100%. So good.
So good. And it's so challenging. It's great, as far as like how the maps work, the graphics are fantastic. I was personally excited to see that they finally made another Evil Dead game.
It's so good. And it follows every Evil Dead, every movie, every story that happened in the TV show. But if we're talking survival horror, all-time favorites, Resident Evil series. And I think the newest Resident Evil 8, The Village, is by far the best game they ever put out. If you're even if you don't know the story behind Resident Evil, it's an amazing game that everyone would love if you're into survival horror.
All right, so we got about roughly like 5 minutes left.
Got him 5.
So I have to ask this question, man. Do you like hot Cheetos? And if you don't, why?
I love Flaming Hot Cheetos. Actually, a funny story about Flaming Hot Cheetos. Me and one of my friends went out drinking one night. We had a DD and we're like, yo, stop. We need to get some Flaming Hot Cheetos. That's the last thing we remember from the night. The next morning, we woke up, and I'm not even playing, from fingertip to elbow, we were both covered in red Flaming Hot Cheeto dust. And we walked down from my room, and there's Cheetos all over my stairs, all over my living room. And we're like, well, we might as well follow this trail of Cheetos, see where it leads us. We open my door. It goes out my front lawn, down my driveway, into my garage. And we get in there. We open the back seat of my car when we were riding. And we had bought 40 bags of Flaming Hot Cheetos and just dumped them in the car. Haven't been able to look at Flaming Hot Cheetos the same ever since. Still love them. If we're talking about the good ones, you can't get them everywhere. The Flaming Hot Cheetos with a little bit of lime. Oh, they're different.
Oh, those are big down here in Texas.
They're hard to find, and the only ones we get in Ohio is the jalapeno ones. They're good, but not as good.
They're not the same. No,
they're not.
Over here in Texas, we got a chain of grocery stores called HEB, known as the Heb.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
I know. Did you know that they actually make a sushi roll that has hot Cheetos on it?
Like sprinkled on top?
Yes.
Oh, I'd eat that. I love that. I'm also a big fan of Takis. Like any spicy treat, I'm usually a fan of. It's not a fan of my stomach, but screw it. I'm going to eat them anyway. They're delicious.
Yeah. Just, hey, live your life, man. Don't let fucking people.
Now I want Flaming Hot Cheetos really bad. Thank you for that.
Hey, it's a great treat. Back to Impact. Any chance we're going to see OVE back? Because I miss OVE personally.
We get that. You never know. It's one of those things. I like what I'm doing now. I like being the death machine. I like being a lone wolf in professional wrestling. But it's a thing you can never say never. I think if OVE were ever going to happen again, it'd have to be done in a new way. I have people in mind if we were ever going to do another OVE. But that's something we'll have to wait and see. You never know what's going to happen.
True. I mean, you never say never, especially in pro wrestling, Things happen all the time.
I would love to do a new OVE with Trey Miguel. If I'm picking my #1 draft pick, it'd have to be Trey. He's a guy that I've known almost his entire career. He's a guy that I have a huge history with, and he's from Ohio. Also, in my opinion, one of the best up-and-coming young wrestlers on the planet today. So he'd be my #1 draft pick.
I agree with you, man. His in-ring performance completely, it's so close to flawless as far as how he transitions all his moves.
And I've loved over the past year him really coming into his own and being able to be away from tag team and be away from 6-man tags and truly evolve and become the professional wrestler he is now.
So, any words of inspiration for your fans? Anyone out there? I see your fans all the time on Twitter, on the social medias. Anything you want to say to them?
I think it's one of those things, just love professional wrestling, no matter what company, no matter who you like, who you love. Like, professional wrestling is supposed to be fun. Why do we fight over professional wrestling when it should be that one thing, that one escape, that one thing that makes you forget how terrible the world might be, how terrible your life might be going at the moment? It should be that one escape where we can all get along, no matter what our beliefs, no matter what our pasts are, no matter what we believe the world should be. Like, professional wrestling should be that one thing that brings us all together and lets us suspend our disbelief of and be whatever we want to be for that day. So just love professional wrestling and just live life. Quit being so negative. We don't need to be negative.
I say that all the time. I'm like, why are we so serious about something we're supposed to enjoy? Like, I personally don't care what you enjoy, like what type of brand, what type of wrestling you may like. It may not be for me, but I'm glad you're enjoying something out there in the world.
Absolutely. Enjoy what you want to enjoy. Believe what you want to believe. What makes the world great is it's a melting pot of different beliefs and different opinions. And if we all thought or liked the same thing, the world would be really bland. And I like my world to be a giant, just rainbow of different everything. So,
yeah, absolutely. So, any plans for any more Revolver events like involving Impact? You know, for like
I think it's one of the. I don't think Revolver could be what it is today if it wasn't for our great relationship with Impact. They are absolutely amazing. They help promote Revolver. They help with talent. They help with letting us get title defenses on our shows. And I think it's one of those things. Impact Wrestling, we have a show on November 12th. We have a show on December 3rd. Check it out on all social media platforms at PW Revolver and ProWrestlingRevolver.com. But the biggest thing you guys should all check out is Friday, Victory Road, Barbed Wire Massacre, when I get to beat the ever-loving crap out of Moose and Maclin. It's going to be a great time.
Absolutely. I'll be there. I'll be there live. So I will see you.
I like
live.
your style. I like it.
Yeah, I will be there live. So everyone, United Kingdom, the States, Canada, Mexico, Australia, Japan. I don't know. I'm just going to, the whole world.
You should probably wear your raincoat because this is going to be a bloody one.
All right. All right. I'll take your advice, man. I also won't wear white either, black.
Or maybe do wear white. Who knows? It might be like a Gwar concert at this point.
Have you ever seen Gwar?
I have. I've seen them live, and they're absolutely amazing live.
I am so jealous of you right now.
This match is going to be like a Gwar concert.
Awesome. Join Impact Insiders on YouTube, youtube.com/Impact Wrestling. It's worth the dollar. It's hell, if you want the extra content, it's worth, I believe it's, an additional amount, a little bit more, but totally worth it. Or get Impact Plus.
Impact Plus is the way to go also. Pretty much every show from Impact Wrestling history, TNA history, a crap load of exclusive content. And it's really easy to navigate. I know there's so many wrestling streaming networks right now that are extremely confusing, especially for a guy like me. But Impact Wrestling, you type something in, you find it, it's easy to navigate. You'll have a great time.
Absolutely. So that is it for me at TWM. The Death Machine, we're going to see him do his thing. I don't think Maclin and Moose are going to get it together. I don't see it happening, man. I only see, I'll be honest. I'm going to call it like it is. I think you're going to win. I think I'm
going to win also. And talking about let's not be negative. One thing I wish Moose and Maclin is I would not cry at all if they both fell down the stairs on the way to this match. Just saying. That's on a positive note. Truly positive. Positivity.
Also, if you are going to be in Nashville, buy a ticket. Impact's different live, trust me. Different when you're there as well. It's amazing. It's a great time. It's awesome. But it's, watch it live as well. So that's it. Thank you, Sami. I appreciate you coming on to talk.
To Ashley!